Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Runnin On Scuffs. I am your host, Justin Seeger, and I am here joined today with a couple of my other favorite scuffs, my fellow dipstick, Mr. Zachary Bell. How are you doing today, sir?
We're fantastic. It's February 13th, right before National Singles Awareness Day. Uh, and right after a victorious Eagles or rewarding Eagles loss in the Super Bowl. So happy Monday. It's Daytona week, everybody.
It is Daytona week, and with that being said, we've got our favorite Dale Earnhardt fan. It just, even though he only won one Daytona 500, it feels synonymous to have Daytona and Dale Earnhardt. So, Mike, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Got to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl last night. That made me pretty darn happy. It is in fact Daytona 500 week, and raise hail, praise Dale.
That's what we're here for. And, gentlemen, I'm sure you guys are aware that we do not have a particular Florida man with us here tonight.
Thankfully.
Dan Foster is away. He is driving home from a little bit of weekend vacation time, so we appreciate him for that. But I mean, come on, we're only like we haven't even gotten the season started yet, and he's already taking vacations.
We're only here for an hour a week. Like, come on, man, that ain't that much.
I'm telling you, he's just the slacker, and we'll get him back for that. But it's okay because we have a replacement for Dan, and it's my honor to present our replacement for Dan for the evening. He works with the Championship Racing Network along with Steve West. You guys saw me interview him a few weeks back, and now we've got his co-host for that show, Mr. Matt Nicholson. Um,
Gentlemen, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Matt, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Just getting ready for the weekend. Everything kicks off on Wednesday, and it'll be here before we know it.
That is very true. We are excited. We're all excited for Daytona. This is we just had the Super Bowl last night, but this is our Super Bowl right here. We're ready for the Daytona 500. We're ready to get things kicked off, and we're ready to get things going. Matt, for those who maybe are unaware of your background, why don't you give everybody a little bit of a background into what your experiences are with NASCAR and with racing.
Well, I went to Talladega Super Speedway for this will be year 34. My first trip there, I was age 4. Uh, I've worked there for now. This will be year number 6 that I've been an employee there as well. I do a little bit of public address work with them, help them with a little bit of production between the public address team and MRN, and do some scoreboard operator work as well. I've been tied in with that for going on 6 years. I got started, as you mentioned, I do the Championship Racing Network with Steve West. I got started with him and his show back in 2017 over in Birmingham at a FM station in Birmingham, and now we're over in East Alabama near Talladega. That blankets probably, I'm gonna say, the whole eastern half of the state of Alabama from I-65 over into the parts of western Georgia where our station goes to. We're on a pretty strong signal. Uh, I raced dirt late models I started in 2007. I haven't been in a car since 2018. I had a catastrophic engine failure happen in a test session, and the right opportunity has not presented itself to come back in and get back within dirt racing. Possibly that chance may happen here about midpoint of the year. I've got a friend of mine that has asked me to come drive his car a time or two, so we're going to see how that goes. My brother-in-law is Brett Holmes, a Craftsman Truck Series competitor, which we know Brett. He got rooked out of Talladega. No other way to say it. He's going full time this year, and hey, if there's any part I can help him guys out, I'm gonna try to help him out any way I can. So it's probably gonna be a really busy year for me.
Sounds like that's the way we like it, though. It may be busy, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun one.
Yep.
Well, we're happy to have you here with us on our show for this evening, and it's going to be a little bit of fun. See, Steve really didn't get this opportunity, at least yet.
Right.
We may get him on a little bit later in the year, but we're going to toss you into our world here, Matt, and
Sounds good.
we're going to let you get in on all the fun.
That'll work.
Dan's not here to control myself, Zach, or Mike. So, we're here to just go wild tonight. I hope you're ready.
He never really did a good job of that anyway.
That's true. That's true. For those of you watching, we hope that you guys are well. All who are watching, be sure to comment down below. If you're watching, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. And we've got a good one lined up, ladies and gentlemen. As we've been talking, it's Daytona week. We're getting set up for the start of the season. We've got a few news stories that we're going to cover. We've got a fun segment that I'm going to introduce. It's going to be something we haven't done before on the show. I promised it last week. Scuffed Up is back. And considering that Dan is not here with us, Zach, what do you say I take off? I dust off my old debating gloves and step into the ring with you.
Just like our days on Dipstick Debates, I'm here to whoop your ass.
Hey, that's what I love to hear. I love a good competition with you, my friend. Mike's got a fun Daft Stat segment for us later tonight, so he's going to get you ready for the Daytona 500. And of course, we're going to close our show tonight with us all making race picks for the weekend, telling us who we're going to get for our winners, and I'm going to hold you guys to those race winning picks. So we'll see who does.
Are we keeping track this year? Or are we like scoring this?
Yes, we are. We are going to keep track. So for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, we are going to keep track of our race winning picks. So we'll be sure to remember that when the end of the year comes around, and we'll see who does best on that. So
Right.
with that being said, I guess let's go ahead and get into it. We've got, like I said, we have a few stories, a few scuff stories that we have to cover, a few interesting ones. I'm excited to get over these. So let's get into our scuff stories segment. And we have a few, like I said, we have a few stories to get into tonight. Number one, we have another open car for the Daytona 500, one that we did not mention last week. Connor Daly will attempt the Daytona 500 with the Money Team. He ran with them back at the Charlotte Roval last season. So really cool to see Connor Daly at least be able to attempt the Daytona 500. A little bit of an interesting fact, J.J. Yaley, we thought was going to be a seventh open car for the Daytona 500, and that did not come to be. And I don't know if you guys have been on NASCAR Twitter recently, but that announcement was just horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was probably one of the worst ones I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of meme worthy things out there, and I hope that there are some NASCAR meme pages that are not going to let them forget that one.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Connor Daly, he's still going to attempt the 500. So that leaves us with 6 open cars for the 500. A little bit of Xfinity silly season news. CJ McLaughlin and Natalie Decker both are going to run part-time in the Xfinity series with Emmerling Gase Motorsports. Natalie Decker also going to run part-time ARCA for that team as well. CJ McLaughlin's got 18 starts for that team, so he'll be kind of the anchor man for that team throughout the season. Another little piece of Xfinity silly season news that I'm sure a lot of people are excited about and others maybe not. Kyle Busch is coming back to the Xfinity series to run for the number 10 car for Colleague Racing. Mike, I see you have an opinion on that. Zach also has an opinion on that. Before I get into y'all's opinion, I have to know our faithful trooper Ryan is here. How's it going, guys? It is Daytona 500 week. That's all we love to hear.
We need to get him on the show one of these days.
We do. I mean,
I'm still recovering from the Rolex.
He should permanently replace Dan. That's what Ryan needs to do.
You used to say that about Logan too, and we got.
I got
Van
Logan
to
replaced.
That's-
Yeah, I'm actually out here
we-
like the Grim Reaper of the podcast. I'm coming for Justin soon. You better watch out. It starts with the Scuffed Up segment tonight, folks.
Hey, Logan's out doing his thing, and we still love and appreciate him for that. So, nonetheless, if you come for my job, Zach, I don't. I'm sure there's other options. Maybe Steve and Matt will accept me on the Championship Racing Network.
Yeah, we'll get you in.
I'm down in the area, so. All right.
If you can make it to East Alabama, where our studios are, come on.
I could make that trip. I would do it just to prove to Zach that I could.
I didn't say you couldn't do it. I didn't. Never mind. You know what? Before we go off on a tangent, let's just talk about Kyle Busch. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about Kyle Busch. He's not the only one. AJ Allmendinger and Justin Haley are also going to drive part-time in the 10 car, and we lost Mike for a minute there.
I think Austin Dillon is as well.
Austin Dillon as well. That's
yeah.
So Landon Castle, he came into the season. I guess he came into the season thinking he had a full-time opportunity in the 10 car, and now all of a sudden it's become an all-star car for.
Well, he lost his sponsor, that Voyager crypto company. He lost that sponsor, so that's why.
Yeah,
they're going to still try to keep him, from what I understand. They're going to try to run him some places.
Yeah. I hope so. Landon Castle, he wasn't able to get a win, but he was very solid in the 10 car for them. So hopefully so. But it's really cool to see Kyle Busch back. I mean, whether you love him or hate him, Kyle Busch is always one to come down to the Xfinity and the Truck Series and show the young kids how to do it. That seems to be his MO. What's he at? Is he at 100 wins now, or is he at
101?
102.
102.
102,
yeah. I'll say my piece on this real quick before Daft can go on a whole rager here. Listen, my opinion, none of our opinions really matter that much. If the drivers want him there, the Xfinity Series drivers want to race against Kyle Busch and believe that iron sharpens iron and all that stuff, then let it happen. If the drivers truly think he's robbing them of success and wins, then he shouldn't be there. But if the guys in the series that run full time want him there, think it's better for them, then he should be there. And that's the end of the conversation for me. I don't give two craps about Fox's and NBC's ratings if he takes away people from Xfinity and truck races. But this is the equivalent of a major league all-star going down and rehabbing at AAA. At the end of the day, you're gonna get better by seeing the best in the business. Even
Absolutely.
though maybe you can say Kyle Busch is on a bit of a decline, he's still a top 3 talent and top 5 talent in the series, and there's no doubt about that. And even the best in the Xfinity Series most years are not at that level that Kyle Busch is.
Well, even to that point, even if Kyle Busch did not run, we wouldn't have moments like we had at Darlington in 2020 with Chase Briscoe. That was a classic Xfinity moment, and we wouldn't have it if Kyle Busch was not running. So, Mike, you have a piece to say about this though on the other side?
I'm not going to get into it too much because we don't have that long of a show. All I'm going to say is I believe that he should be staying at the Cup level. He shouldn't be going to Xfinity. And with Matt correcting Zach on the stats there on the wins, I'm half tempted to say Matt replaces Zach from now on. Let's do this.
Oh, my gosh.
I think with him going to this car, I think that's more of a Chevrolet move than anything, because I think Chevrolet wants to see him back in Xfinity. And I said this on our show last Saturday. Do not be overly surprised if you see Chevrolet Performance on the side of that 10 car, which is today's equivalent of GM Goodrich.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to be a lot of on that car too. I know they got races open. I don't know if anybody else has read the tweets or seen the old rumor mill, but one Derek Kraus has been linked to this car and this team still.
Oh God.
And as they keep announcing drivers for this car, I keep hoping my guy Derek Kraus. I know Justin's size, but Justin doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to
How
dirt cross.
so if Kyle Busch, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, and Landon Castle drive this car, Derek Kraus isn't even going to be a top 5 driver for the 10 car.
No.
Dude, it's not about being a top 5 driver in the 10 car. It's about getting seat time. Listen, he was robbed of a ride at BMR. He ends up and took off the full 10. He gets one race at Young's Motorsport at Daytona. Like, come on, man. This is the ultimate shaft for a guy who has consistently outperformed his equipment. At the end of the year, when Christian Eckes doesn't make the Truck Series playoffs, or finishes 10th in the standings, one spot better than Kraus, I'm just going to say, like, I told you so. The ride is mid. The talent has been outperforming the truck.
We'll see how it goes.
You're right. You're right, and I'm going to be right. We'll get scuffed up about Derek Kraus one day. And that's fine.
I'd love to do that with you, buddy. A little bit more somewhat silly season news. We talked about Landon Castle. He thought he was going to have a full-time ride. Now it's not the case. Here's another driver that thought he was going to have a full-time opportunity, this time in the Cup Series. And it has been announced in the past week that he will not. Todd Gilliland will be part-time for 2023 because Zane Smith has been announced. Zane Smith is going to run 6 Cup starts, 5 of them in the number 38. He will drive the 36 at the Daytona 500. So Todd Gilliland will run the remaining 31 races in the 38. But this is tough because I thought, Front Row Motorsports has been really rotating drivers. They had John Hunter Nemechek, they had Anthony Alfredo, and some people kind of questioned bringing Todd Gilliland straight up from the Truck Series. But I thought Todd Gilliland performed pretty well in 2022.
He did what I would call admirable.
Mm-hmm.
He had a decent year. He had some really good flashes at his particular tracks, and I'm pretty sure I heard John Roberts say this on Sirius XM last week, and he made a crystal clear point. If Front Row can field a third car for the Daytona 500, why can't they field a third car for 5 more races? Why do you have to pull a driver out of the seat to put another one in? Because Ambetter Health, the company that's sponsoring it, they're putting enough money up to where they can run a third car for that many races and let Todd Gilliland keep getting more experience in his seat. But the kicker to this whole problem is, with me, is Ford has put a stipulation down that if he runs another series or another Cup car, it's got to be a Ford-affiliated team. That only leaves really one team left, and I wouldn't drive one of these cars if somebody had a gun pointed at me, and that's Rick Ware. I would take a mid-level Xfinity car ride before I got in a Rick Ware Cup car.
Yeah. It's for sure that Daytona is. Or Todd Gilliland is getting the talk about someone who's getting the shaft. He's kind of definitely getting the short end of the stick on this. And don't get me wrong, Zane Smith is a great talent. He deserves these Cup starts. Nothing against Zane Smith at all, but I think Todd Gilliland has done really well. At least for Front Row Motorsports standards. In his rookie season, I think with time he would only get better. But if we're taking races away from him, he's not going to get that. So
nope, not at all.
I hate it for Todd Gilliland, but we'll see what Zane Smith can do, and we'll see what Todd Gilliland can do because he still gets 31 races. So maybe he can make a deal with Rick Ware in the 15 for those 5 races. We'll see, perhaps.
Depending on where they are, I know they released a schedule, but I can't remember it. But if it's like a super speedway race or two, like it's not like the end of the world to take that Rick Ware car and like finish 20th, and for your overall season outlook,
They had announced what races Zane Smith was running.
Both Charlotte races, Phoenix, Talladega.
I think he's running Texas.
I think it's Texas. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. It's something like
Well,
that.
I mean, you can definitely put in a. I mean, we've seen the Rick Ware car show up a little bit at the Coke 600 if chaos hits the fan. I mean, we've seen some.
But the one kicker to that though is who has prepared the Rick Ware car. If it's the Rick Ware team preparing the car, or if you've got a satellite driver from another team preparing the car. Case in point, like Ryan Priest last year.
Yeah.
There's no question that was a Stewart Haas prepared car.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
So,
maybe
most
Todd
of the time.
Gillen can go over to RFK and they can prepare him a Rick Ware car.
Well, who knows?
But we do have one more piece of interesting news, and this came out today. This was reported on by Adam Stern. This is something that when it was announced, I was like, we've got to talk about this.
I've got a problem with a lot of this. A big problem.
So it's been reported that NASCAR is exploring more markets for racing. They are actively in talks about bringing a race to New York City. Other areas include Seattle, Denver, Mexico, Canada, and a Middle Eastern international series for NASCAR. So what I'm hearing is we're street racing in the Big Apple. That's
or they could build another track inside of a football stadium at MetLife Stadium, which I would lose my mind over. There's not a football stadium on the United States soil anywhere that is wide enough and big enough that you could put a quarter-mile track in that would hold 40 cars. There's no way whatsoever. So, yeah. And what are you going to do? Run the street course at New York City that Formula E runs? Give me a break.
Yeah,
I'm just hearing about this Middle Eastern race. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a race delayed for a sandstorm. Like,
I mean, when I seen that today, Mike, I thought, what owner outside of Rick Hendrick and Joe Gibbs? If we know they're so much pro NASCAR on every little move they make, we know that. Okay. What owner is going to want to spend all of that extra additional cost to ship cars and send teams over to Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Bahrain, Azerbaijan, places like that?
Yeah, like
that's unreal.
At least for, I will say this. If you're going to Canada, let it be Canadian Tire.
Mm-hmm.
Let it.
Or
Circus Villeneuve.
There you go.
Montreal.
I'm also thinking about
either way.
Because every Nationwide Series race that was at Montreal, I don't recall a bad one. They were all good.
At least in Canada, you have at least two options that are actual tracks that NASCAR has been at. And at least, I think the Clash proved that we should not have a points paying race. I'm okay with let me preface this. I'm still okay with the Clash at the LA Coliseum if we would shorten the field a little bit. I think that would be, if we would actually go back to having stipulations for the Clash and not just it being an open race.
That would be my one stipulation too. Tighten the field up.
But we have proven that we cannot have the LA Clash has proven that it's great. It's fun. Sure. We can, and we can still do it if we have a shorter field. We do not need a points paying race with 36 to 40 cars inside a football stadium.
I'm not a fan of Joey Logano, but Joey Logano hit it on the head times 10 when he told Brian McGee, no, there's no way. Why would you even think about that? We can't even get around the track with 27 cars. What makes anybody think we could get around with 40? And he was dead on the money.
Yeah.
They set the over under for the Clash at like 6 laps for when the leader would lap somebody. What would the over under be if they had all 36 of them out there?
1,
4.
Yeah, it would.
I would say
if they could even get around 4 full circuits.
Right. Like and that's the other thing about that I'm okay with it being at the LA Coliseum if one, they shorten the field, and two, caution laps need to count.
Thank you.
Then I think you need more laps. Like I think
and
like
that's fair. That
I
is
think like
fair.
200 laps or something is
Yeah,
I would
fine.
I would say 225 count cautions.
Yeah, somewhere between 200 and 250, I think. I
About
think you're gonna count cautions.
about
I
where
personally
NASCAR.
think.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I think if you personally shorten the field up, I don't think you have to add any more laps because I don't think. I mean, are there going to be cautions? Yes, but I don't think there's going to be as many. It's not going to be as many cautions if you have a 15 or 20 car field as it was opposed to a 27 car field, because I mean, the heat races and the last chance qualifiers were actually good. I mean, they were enjoyable to watch.
They were.
But yeah, I just can't imagine. There's definitely NASCAR is definitely getting what I would consider to be kind of radical with some of the things they're looking into.
You know what though? I want to give them their credit for being innovative about this. Like I appreciate the ideas. I know that largely I am the resident like I hate NASCAR so much that I love NASCAR person, and that still reigns true. And it doesn't mean that these projects aren't going to be failures, but at least they're going out swinging now. And, and I maybe if I were them, I would have waited to gone public with this information, or try to keep this as tight-lipped as possible until after the Chicago street race. I think that race is going to give us a lot of answers as to like the direction that these racing in these markets is going to what that's going to look like. But I'm encouraged by the fact that they're talking about going to Seattle and then going to Denver. I know we kind of had glossed over those for Canada and the Middle East and New York and stuff. But
if they go to Denver, can I just ask that they renovate the old Furniture Row Racing shop and set up like a viewer platform there?
Give me Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak, yeah.
That's actually, I was going to touch on that. Denver, actually, to me, would be the most interesting out of all of those choices, simply because the thinner air causes the cars to run faster. We see it in NHRA every year. There's been a lot of records that have been set at Denver because there's thinner air, so there's less air resistance. And okay, Seattle, sure. But what time of year are you gonna run that race? It's the rainy Pacific Northwest. Like,
I don't think it matters when they run it. And to be quite frank, like, I think NASCAR has proven to me that they've had enough tests and trials in the rain that they know what's too much, and if they don't, maybe you can disagree, but
no, I was gonna say if it's a road course with rain tires, absolutely. But I think I don't think that they're going to go oval racing. If you try to run an oval up there, you're never going to get the race in because it rains nearly every day.
I don't think they're going to go oval racing in Seattle. But that also tells me that NASCAR thought Portland was kind of a success for the Xfinity Series, at least for what they got viewership, like attendance wise and stuff. Because I don't think Seattle would have been listed if Portland wasn't a success.
And I love that we're reaching into that market.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is a market that they have largely left untapped, and there's been some big name drivers to come out of the state of Washington and the Pacific Northwest. Greg Biffle's from the Northwest. Pretty sure Casey Kane is from the Northwest. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you are.
But
you're right.
So it would be nice to see the sport kind of represent where some of its drivers come from and stuff, and go give those guys a hometown or home-ish sort of race. I mean, so much of the sport is concentrated in the Southeast, and as it rightfully should. This is where its core and its base is at. But NASCAR is an international sport and has drivers from all over the world at this rate. That's what we're pushing for, right? So kudos to them for covering this country and looking into others.
I know there's not a lot of people in this state that I'm about to mention, but the fact that we don't have an oval track somewhere in Montana that we could go to, I think a night race in Montana would be awesome.
If you're going to do that,
there's a
if you're
track
gonna
in
do that-
Alaska that is really good.
There
really
we
popular short
go.
track. Very
Yeah.
good.
They
a
want to race
race-
on dirt? Nah, let's go snow racing.
They've been practicing ice racing over in the. Over
No,
in
they
Europe.
canceled that. They canceled that.
Yeah,
Did they not run the practice thing
No,
for it or
they
test session?
canceled it.
Oh,
They canceled it.
Yep.
well, I'm glad they thought about that.
Hot take. They should race in Laramie, Wyoming.
Yeah,
That should be the
there we
stadium
go.
race. They should put the stadium race in Laramie at Cowboy Memorial Stadium at the University of Wyoming, highest elevated stadium in all of the country, and see what happens there. That would give you the ultimate I'm gonna run straight through you effect. I think double down on what the Clash was if you're gonna do that
I think Boise State would be pretty interesting too.
on the blue turf, the Smurf turf.
Yeah.
Oh well, we will
Paint the
see
track
how.
blue, like
We will see what comes out of all this with NASCAR. Maybe we get some answers. I know they wanted to go pretty radical with the 2024 schedule. We'll see what happens when that gets released. But nonetheless, that's all of our scuff stories for this week's episode. Now I'm going to introduce you guys to a brand new game that we're going to play here tonight. And as we're getting ready to go into 2023 and we're getting ready to go into Daytona week, I'm going to give you guys a few scenarios, and you guys are going to tell me whether you think that it's a feel good or a flat. Pretty similar to Fox's pump the brakes or hit the gas. So we're going to get ready for feel goods or flats. And you guys at home, you guys can play along with this. Comment down in the chat if you think what I'm about to say is a feel good or a flat. We've got a few of these that I'm going to go through. And this is the first time that I did not have this on our script, so you guys would have a genuine reaction to these. Number one, Mike, just because I loved your hot takes. In 2022, Martin Truex Jr. missed the playoffs. In 2023, Martin Truex Jr. will make the playoffs.
that's definitely a feel good.
Is that a feel good or a flat?
That's a feel good for sure.
Zach, what's your opinion on that?
This isn't a flat. This is a loose wheel all the way down pit road, folks. It never even reached the car. That's how bad this is.
Mama Seeger, she's commenting. She says that's a feel good.
Yeah, we know. You raised a Truex fan. We love you, Mama Seeger. We just, we wish you could have produced a Denny Hamlin fan. That's all we're saying.
Well,
And I don't think anybody's wishing for that.
She's not a Denny Hamlin fan herself, so.
Well, my parents weren't Denny Hamlin fans originally, and here I ended up.
Oh, hell. Anyway, Matt, what are your thoughts? Truex makes the playoffs in 2023. Is that a feel good or a flat?
I'm going to say that's going to be a feel good because he's going to pull the weight of the JGR team this year.
That's pretty good. That was one of my hot takes, and Mike, you kind of indicated that as well. So we're going to see if Truex can pull the weight. Mama Seeger did say sorry, Zach.
It's okay.
know.
I appreciate your kindness makes up for your Truex fandom. It's something Justin doesn't have.
Well, maybe it's not that I don't have it. It's just that you don't see it.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyways, so here's one. I did this just for you, Zach. Denny Hamlin. This one's for the Daytona 500. Denny Hamlin will win his fourth Daytona 500 this weekend in Daytona. Is that a feel good or a flat? By the way, I thought the previous one was a feel good myself. I think that Truex makes the playoffs. I think this one's a flat, though, personally. I just think the Daytona 500 is too crazy, to say that, but
It's a feel good. It's a feel good, folks. Listen, I know you're like, he's a homer. I don't care at all. Listen, he is. Realistically, ask yourself if you're, gun to your head, back against the wall. you have to put your money on one driver to be at the end of the Daytona 500. At the end of the race, not even saying win it. It's Denny Hamlin. Am I wrong? I trust this guy to get through any wreck. He got messed up by a freaking rookie in the 500, and then all of a sudden they blessed the reins down in Daytona, and that's what took him out. But if you remember correctly, he was leading going into turn 1 at the time of that caution in the summer race. There is no doubt about it. He will be there at the end, and at that, put your cards on the table, folks.
Well, Matt, Mike, what are your thoughts? Do you guys think that Denny Hamlin wins a 4th one, or is that a flat?
Well, the funny part is in that summer race, had he been running towards the back of the field, he wouldn't have been caught in that rain-filled wreck. That is, I'm not going to actually call that a feel-good or a flat. I'm going to call that one a running on scuffs. It's not quite a flat tire, but it's not for fresh Mr. Feel-Goods either. I mean, I could see it happening, but I'm skeptical.
You're not playing the game right, Mike. I'm here to get a direct answer from you here. Anyways, Matt.
All right, I'm gonna give a hybrid answer on this one, and you'll catch on to what I'm saying. It's a flat from the side of the driver's seat, but it's a feel good from the side of the owner's cap.
So, would you say that falls more on the Bubba Wallace or Tyler Reddick to get the Daytona 500 win?
I'm gonna save my answer for that for the end of the show.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Here's one. This is interesting. Ford always seems to have a way of running at Daytona throughout the race. And here's my next feel good or flat for you. Does Ford lead at the halfway point of the Daytona 500? Is that a feel good or a flat?
I'm going to say that is a flat.
Flat.
I'm going to
Mike?
call that a feel good.
I'm going to go with a feel good on that. I think the Fords, they typically do pretty well with their organization throughout the race. But we'll see. We'll see where the cards fall on that one. This next one is going to be in regards to the 2023 season as a whole. Mama Seeger said that's a flat. The Ford's leading at halfway. I will say this: Ross Chastain, does he win more races in 2023 than he did in 2022? Is that a feel good or a flat?
Flat. That's a flat. This is a nice regression to the mean.
So Zach's going with a flat. Does anyone else have a different opinion there?
Well, I mean, if you go back to my hot takes last week, that's going to definitely be a feel good. Because I've got him winning at least 4 races.
I'm going to say feel good. I think he breaks out even more this year than he did last year.
I'm going to say that I'm going to go with a feel good, but I'll tell you this: I think Ross Chastain wins exactly 3 races.
That's my number 3.
So technically that would be a feel good. But for our next one, Mama Seeger calls that one a feel good as well. So with this next one, in regards to Daytona, this is one that I said as part of my hot takes. Travis Pastrana misses the Daytona 500. Do you guys think that is a feel good or a flat?
Flat. I think he makes it.
I'm going to say that's going to be a flat because somebody like Denny Hamlin or even Tyler Reddick pushes him in, because 23 is probably going to be towards the front of whichever duel that he's in.
That's a fair point. Mike?
I think I got to go with a feel good on that. I mean, I don't feel that with him having, it's been I think 10 years since he's been in a NASCAR car, and the fact that he doesn't get a practice session before the heats. Like,
It's been 12 since he's been at Daytona.
yeah, this is a different beast. I don't think he gets in.
Okay, then where is this logic for Jimmy Johnson?
Well, we haven't talked about that.
It also hasn't been 12 years for Jimmy Johnson.
And plus, Jimmy Johnson, he will have a past champions provisional to lean on just in case.
That is true. That is true. So I've got a couple more here. I've got a couple more for us here. Looks like we may be having a few technical issues with a couple. I think we're good now though. I hope so. Oh, don't you just love for the Mike? You're the only one of us that probably doesn't know what Southern internet is like. So
Mine's actually good.
yeah.
Now my internet up here in the north is all nice and fine.
Well,
Except for the times where it just decides, you know what, I'm done with today.
Well, I tell you, I'm down here in Mississippi, so it's crazy sometimes when it wants to mess up. But nonetheless, so for our second to last feel good, Corey LaJoy, does he get a top 10 finish in the Daytona 500 this year? Is that a feel good or a flat?
I'm going to say feel good.
I think I'm going to have to go with a flat on that one. I think just top 10, way too much can happen.
Mama Seeger says
I'll
that
go.
is a feel good.
I'll go feel good on that one.
Feel good. We like.
I don't know if
Corey
y'all can
LaJoy.
hear me.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry,
we
I've been
can.
having some internet issues. I don't know if y'all heard my whole rant on Travis Pastrana and Jimmy Johnson either, but
I heard you say, "Where is this talk about Jimmy Johnson?" And then we kind of lost you.
yeah, that was the summary of it. I mean,
yeah. But nonetheless, one more feel good or flat before we move on to the next segment here, and this is for the 2023 season as a whole. Zach, this is actually going to be on one of your thoughts here. We get a brand new champion in 2023. Is that a feel good or is that a flat?
feel good.
I'm going to say that's a flat. Just because I think with all the champions in the field with Logano and Kyle Busch and even Larson and Chase Elliott, I'm going to say that is I'm going to say that's a flat.
I'm going to say that's a feel good because Martin Truex Jr. is going to win that championship. So,
No, you would say it's a flat.
That would be a flat then.
I'm gonna go feel good, and it's somebody that you probably will not expect.
Oh, I want to hear this prediction.
I'm either gonna say it's probably gonna be somebody like Ryan Blaney or Tyler Reddick.
I knew it. I was feeling Tyler Reddick. Listen, all the real ones know what's up at 2311. Matt is a real one. The rest of you are
I've actually raced a late model against Tyler Reddick before.
See, you've seen the talent.
He's good. I mean, he's good.
We have a couple comments on that. Summer Brassfield says that's a feel good, and Mama Seeger says that's a flat.
That's right, Summer. It is a feel good. Come and join Matt and I. You don't have to name your driver friend. It's okay. Just know that in the army of all new champions, what it does mean is that evil Joey Logano is not getting one.
We have Peyton Lore. She's here watching. She's saying, "Hey, girl." I'm not sure. He's probably talking to you, Zach. If I had to guess. Interesting prediction, Matt. That was from Mama Seeger. So Matt, a little bit of interesting here. Mama Seeger is our team mom, and if you get her approval, then you are on the right track. Zach still hadn't figured out what it's like to get that yet. So
I'll take it.
Your mom loves me.
she loves you off the show.
That's fine.
But,
That's fine. I'm not everybody's favorite character. That's fine.
nonetheless, all right. Let's get into. We're kind of warming up for our debate segment here. I promised you guys Scuffed Up would be back, and it is. But Zach, it's time for us to dust off the old debate gloves, and it's time for us to go at it. Matt, Mike, you guys are going to sit back and watch. Matt, you are going to be our judge for this debate here. Mike,
Boy.
you've got to prepare for a daft stat segment to come right after it. So we're going to remove you guys from the screen for a little bit, but you guys will be right back. And Zach, it is time for you and I, sir, to get scuffed up. Well, my friend, it's been a long time since we've stepped into the ring with one another.
Yeah, it has. It feels like a good old home. You know what I mean? We race each other on the NASCAR heats, and it usually goes one way, your way, more often than mine. That's because I'm lazy about it, I guess you could say. But that's okay, folks. I lose everything on the track to win it all on air.
That's very true. That's very true. All right, so we've got a wonderful debate here tonight. Mama Seeger's already getting prepared. She's saying, "Oh boy, here we go. It's going to be." She's been here with us ever since the beginning. So, nonetheless, let's get things going. So, our debate topic for this evening, we're going to give a theoretical scenario to you guys out here tonight. Kyle Busch has been trying to win the Daytona 500 for many years now. This will be his 18th attempt at the Great American Race in 2023, and he has yet to win it. Very similar to another former champion of the sport that could not get the Daytona 500 win, Dale Earnhardt. And when Dale Earnhardt finally got his win, he had much love, much admiration from the fans. We saw all the teams line pit road, and it was a very special moment, one of the best moments in NASCAR history. What I'm asking you to debate here, Zach, is if Kyle Busch wins the Daytona 500 here in 2023, it's his first points race with RCR, will Kyle Busch get the same sort of reaction with a Daytona 500 win? And because I'm so nice, I'm going to let you have the floor first. So have at it, my friend.
No. The reason why I'm leaning towards no is I checked a couple boxes, and yes, but let me explain why it could first. I think that his fellow competitors will absolutely be happy for him, most of them at least, right? I think that a lot of the NASCAR community within the garage and the media, be it Fox, NBC, The Athletic, those sorts of people, and then us as media would be happy for him in a sense, right? But I think where Kyle falls short is in two measures. First of all, Kyle falls short in that at this point in his career, Dale had been coming off the back injury. He had been almost 4 years removed, or 3 seasons removed from his last Cup Series championship, right? In '94, right? And on top of that, it had started to look like the writing was on the wall for the end. It's the end for Dale. I don't know if Kyle Busch gets that. It's there yet. So I'll say that Kyle Busch, this is not gonna be the same fanfare. I think that a lot of the Kyle Busch haters on Twitter, the haters will stand strong and will prevent it from being like this illustrious, glorious victory that Dale had. it will not be a popular win with the fans. No Kyle Busch win is ever popular with the fans, so only the real ones of us. But I think that I'll close it on this and say that there will be people that watch this show, that are on this show, Mike Daffner, that will be particularly upset if one Kyle Busch wins this Daytona 500. And I don't think that if this show was around in 1998, any of us would have the bitterness, the resentment had we seen Dale win it in '98. So, Justin, I give you the floor and the littlest luck possible. Justin, you're muted. This is like an egg on the face
I
moment.
am. Look, it's only our second week back. I had my mic was quiet for a few moments last week for reasons I'm still not entirely sure, and then this time I had to unmute myself. So we take it as we go. But anyways, what I was saying, Zach, is I'd love to win everybody over, but I only have to win Matt over, really. So if I really want to win this debate, so um, I understand your statement, but allow me to counterpoint here. Kyle Busch, it is going to be a special moment. It may not be as special as Dale Earnhardt's, but it's still going to be a very special moment simply because I think Kyle Busch has matured a lot in his time here in NASCAR. He has been, sure, he came into the sport and he's been a hothead and he's ruffled some feathers along the way. But hey, that's what Dale did too, right? It's fair to say that Dale Earnhardt had a fair amount of haters as well. Maybe in 1998 they were able to overlook that because of his Daytona 500 win. But there were a lot of people who didn't like Dale Earnhardt, and they probably didn't want to see him win a Daytona 500 either. But nonetheless, we saw it, and there was a lot of admiration from the teams and from the people who saw that he worked so hard to hone his craft and perfect it. And I think that's what a lot of people see in Kyle Busch as well. I don't think you get as much of a fan reaction. I will agree with you, Zach, on that. But I think that the teams overall want to see Kyle Busch win it, just like they wanted to see Dale win it. They wanted to see him finally get that monkey off his back and finally put that trophy in his trophy cabinet. So, I think that there's a lot of similarities there. I think now that Kyle Busch is with RCR, I think that takes away some of the haters from the Toyota camp. There's some who didn't like Kyle simply because he was driving a Toyota. So, I think that there's certain ways to go about that. But I think that if Kyle Busch were to win the Daytona 500, it would be another very special moment. But Zach, I will bring you back up here, and we can debate it side by side. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I hear what you're saying, and like I said, it would be special for teams and the industry, right? But every Daytona 500 win is special to the industry. I think that's just the reverence that we as a sport put on the race, or at least we should. I know there are some people who believe championships are worth more than 500s, but anyways, back on the path. It is fitting that he drives an RCR car. It's and I'm pretty sure he's running that 3Chi or BetMGM that has some black on the car, just like Dale's. But the thing I'll say is I feel like Kyle Busch has not made this the monkey on his back that Dale seemed to make it. Dale talked openly about how much it hurt him not winning this race. And not to mention, Dale was a lot closer, a lot more often than Kyle Busch has been. This race and this track has not been favorable to Kyle Busch in the same way it has been to Dale Sr. or any Dale, honestly, at this track. But so I don't feel like he has the combination of the fan support and the prowess at Daytona itself to necessarily conjure up the same feelings. If we're looking at it in the rest of the sport, like the rest of the accolades and the 200 wins, the couple of cup championships, the dominating performances and iconic moments he's given us, some of which we may not like, and a lot of them behind the microphone, whereas Dale did it on the track. More so, I'd say. Kyle, I just feel like in general, like he has not put the emphasis on Daytona, and I think that just kind of says who he is and like his way of coping with not winning this race. To be honest with you, very similarly to how I cope with Denny Hamlin not winning a championship, is I project the successes that Denny Hamlin does have. Kyle projects the successes he does have over the insecurities he has about not winning the 500. But that will make it less special because Dale was vulnerable about it.
I suppose that's a good point, but I gotta believe that just because I want it to be known before I get into this, Mama Seeger actually agrees with you, Zach.
I've won her over. Listen, Matt, your opinion's important, and I still want to win, but Justin called me out earlier for not getting Mama Seeger support, and we have done that quite quickly, folks.
You heard it here first, Matt. He doesn't need your approval. You can just give it to me. But no, I think that there's more people that are going to and that would enjoy a Kyle Busch win than you think. I'm certainly not a Kyle Busch fan. He's been one of my least favorite drivers for a long time. But I think that seeing him win the Daytona 500 and seeing him check that what more or less is the final box on his resume that he needs to accomplish. I mean, obviously he wants to win more championships, and that would be great. But I think for him to get this with a new team, with Dale's team, I think Dale, with Kyle being with RCR on Dale's team, it actually helps make Kyle's win, if it were to happen, more special, and it would be more of that because it was with Dale's team. So I think Dale's 500 and the team he did it with would actually help Kyle Busch in this instance. I don't think he would get that as much if he were still with Joe Gibbs or even with Hendrick, or even with another team. I think the fact that it is RCR helps that fact. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get Matt back into this here, and we will see what he has to say. Matt, what did you've heard both sides of this here, and what say you? Who do you have as the winner of this debate? Is it going to be Zach, who doesn't think that Kyle Busch winning the Daytona 500 would be similar to Dale's, or myself, who does?
I'll say this up front. Everybody knows when it comes to super speedways, it's either feast or famine for Kyle Busch. With all of his starts in points-paying races at super speedways, he has a collective win total of 2. Both of them came in 2008 with the defunct COT car. But with it being him being feast or famine, I got to side with Zach on this one. Here's why. Because if he wins, statistics say he's going to be a serious threat this year. You would be a complete fool. Anybody would be a complete fool to say that he wouldn't be a serious threat in a Chevrolet, and which is a very debatable subject in one of the historically top super speedway teams in RCR. The stars are lining up for him. There's no doubt about it. But it's just a matter of him executing and finishing. Because back to what I said earlier, it's always been feast or famine at a super speedway. And with this one right here, yes, he's tried just about as many years as Dale did before he got his first one. 20 versus 18. Okay. They're close right there. But historically, Dale was always up front and always was that much short. He was so close every time. But versus Kyle, it's been feast or absolute famine. So I've got to say I give the slight edge to Zach because to me, it's just going to be another ordinary win if he pulls it off.
Well, Zach, you won Mama Seeger over and you won Matt over all in the same time. Well, it's definitely going to be interesting. We'll see if Kyle Busch can get it done this Sunday in the Daytona 500. Dan Foster, he did decide to not take the night completely off. He did decide to actually comment here. He says, yes and no, I don't think it would be the magnitude of Dale's win, but it would definitely be that missing page in his record books.
So Dan agrees with me.
So, I think that's a fair point. We'll see how that goes.
He does have a point.
And gentlemen, we're going to see. Speaking of one thing you mentioned there, Matt, was stats. And with our stats, we're going to bring Mike in, and he's going to give us a brand new segment of DAF Stats.
How's it going there, folks? So we got 6 days to go until the Daytona 500. And to be honest with you, it's going to be a darn good race. Currently, as it stands, there's only been 6 drivers in history who have won this race multiple times. And only one of them is active today, and that would be Zach's favorite, Mr. Denny Hamlin. But as far as the stats go, looking at it, it's a little bit all over the place. But I actually have to say the 2 best drivers I see with having a chance to win this Sunday would both be first-time drivers. You have Mr. Alex Bowman, and then you've got my pick to win the Daytona 500, which is Kevin Harvick. He's great on all of the stat categories that I looked at, and if you want to check out those stat categories, you can make your way over to runninonscuffs.com and check out the article.
Thank you there, Mike. I have to say, though, Kevin Harvick would not be a first-time winner of the Daytona 500.
That's fair, but that would add him to the multiple list.
That it would. So, yes, be sure to go to runninonscuffs.com. We have that full article posted for Mike. You guys can check that out down below. Be sure to visit our website. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our picks for the races this weekend. This is going to be our first of many, gentlemen. We're going to have we're going to go ahead and get into our race preview. And it's as simple as this, gentlemen. It's Daytona 500 weekend. We know how it is. We've got qualifying on Wednesday. We have the duels on Thursday, truck race on Friday, Xfinity and ARCA on Saturday, and, of course, the Daytona 500 on Sunday. This is what we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting since November for this. Maybe not if you enjoyed the Christmas season, but it's certainly been a decent wait for us all. And this is what we're really here for. We're here for race winning picks, and we're here to rub it in each other's faces. We're all in the same fantasy league that we all have that we're all going to be making picks for later this week. So, by the way, if you want to join us, the Scuffs on the NASCAR.com fantasy live page, you can join us at runninonscuffs.com/fantasy, and we'll have a link to that posted below. So you can join us for that. But nonetheless, gentlemen, we're going to make a pick for the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Who's going to be your winning picks this weekend? Matt, you're our special guest tonight, so I'm going to let you go first. Who do you have winning the 3 Premier Series races this weekend?
All right. For the Craftsman Truck Series, and the reason I'm making this pick is because I've got just a little bit of inside scoop with the team. I'm going to say right out of the gate is a redemption race for Brett Holmes at Daytona from Talladega, because I had lunch with his dad last week, and they are fired up to get to Daytona with them bringing on Jerry Baxter this year over from DGR. David Gilliland Racing Team. He's found a few things within that truck that can get some more speed out of it, and Brett has really honed his craft on super speedways really well. So I'm going to say he gets out of the gate with a win right out of the box. For the Xfinity race, I'm going to go with another Chevrolet. I'm going to say Sam Mayer gets it done for Junior Motorsports and gets in the win column early instead of having to go through a little bit of that freshman/sophomore. I'm not going to say a slump, but through that learning curve. I'm going to say Sam Mayer does. And for the Cup race, I'm going to say he finally gets through and gets his first Daytona 500 win. I'm going to say Bubba Wallace gets it because historically he is very, very, very strong on super speedways, and he is always there. He finds his way there always at the end of the race. I'm going to say he gets it done this time.
I want it to be known that Matt said that he's already read the script for the truck race. That was what he said. So
Nah, I'm not going to say that.
he said he had the inside scoop. So I think those are great picks. I'd love to see Brett Holmes make up for his.
They're going to be bringing a bullet to Daytona.
Zach, you won our debate. You got Mama Seeger and you got Matt to agree with you. So for that, I'm going to let you go second with your picks.
Oh, man, folks. The meme lives on. It's Derek Kraus. I might only get to pick him one time this year. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Derek Kraus. Do I have much luck here at Daytona with Derek Kraus? Not on the oval. He's been a good road racer at Daytona, though, that's for sure. So, yeah. Going into the truck series or going into the Xfinity Series race, I am not gonna lie. This is a really, really tough field to call, especially here at Daytona, because there's not a lot of standouts. But I'm gonna take Parker Kligerman and the Big Machine 48. Parker usually does well at the super speedways. He's won in the truck series with that Henderson 75 car or 75 truck. And to cap it off, we're going with Denny Hamlin. It is a 4-time. He may never get his championship. He will definitely get his 4th Daytona 500 and be in truly elite and exclusive company with only the king to have won that many Daytona 500s. The king and Pearson, I think, actually. Right? Somebody else won 4.
Yeah.
Yarborough won 4.
Yarborough, sorry.
Yeah. That would be an interesting field. I can't imagine you if somehow Derek Kraus and Denny Hamlin were able to win.
If that happens, I'm missing next week's show. I ain't gonna be here for that.
Everybody call in sick.
Go ahead and get that fake cough going there, Mike. Speaking of which, Mike, why don't you go ahead and give us your picks for Daytona weekend?
So in the truck series, I don't really follow the trucks all that closely, but I got Christian Eckes winning it. I think he finds his way through. And then in the Xfinity series, I kind of half agree with Matt. I do have junior motorsports driver Justin Allgaier winning that race. And then, of course, in the 500, we got the closer, Kevin Harvick. And I also want to say something that happened during Scuffed Up, that Zach said that I would not be happy if Kyle Busch won. I'd be perfectly happy if Kyle Busch won, because that means that Denny Hamlin didn't.
Nonetheless, well, before I give you my picks, I got to say he finally decided to show up just to give us picks, because Dan loves to be right about having his picks. So here's Mr. Dan Foster to give his Daytona picks for the weekend.
Daniel.
By the way, I just got to say, I'm already in Daytona. I'm ready for racing. I can't, that's why I took tonight off, as y'all say. No, I'm in Daytona, waiting, ready to go. The trucks aren't even here yet, but let's go. Anyway,
it was my understanding you were supposed to inform us of these decisions before you went there, but
I mean, I live 2 hours away. Of course, I'm going to go to Daytona. No. But anyways, no. As far as my picks for the race, I mean, Denny Hamlin, I know Zach is a big Denny Hamlin fan. He just finds a way of winning at Daytona. But I don't think he's going to get it this year. I'm personally going to have to stick with Chevrolet. I think they're going to have a little leg up when it comes to the super speedways this year. Personally, my picks, I'm going to go William Byron.
Do you have an Xfinity or truck pick on that, or
Xfinity? I'm going to go Parker Kligerman, however you guys want to pronounce it. And for trucks, I'll go Corey Heim.
interesting picks? Interesting picks indeed.
I am in my car. I'm stopped at a gas station. I'm not driving, but I do have to get on the road because I do have to get my real job on the first thing tomorrow morning. So you guys have a good night. Matt, as always, thank you for showing up, sir. Zach, Mike, Justin, I'll see you guys next week, and I'm sure we'll be talking this week.
Oh yeah, well, we appreciate having Dan on for even just a moment to give his picks.
Let's see if Dan shows up.
And I guess I'll round us out for my truck pick. This one at Daytona is going to be, I'm just going to go with it and say that I'm going to be a little cliche here. I'm going to say Chase Elliott wins in the truck series at Daytona.
Oh, exciting! Oh.
I know. For the Xfinity series, I'm not going to be picking a full-time Cup driver, although I was tempted by Justin Haley. For the Xfinity series, I'm going to go with Austin Hill. He won last year, and he knows how to get it done on those super speedways. I like Austin Hill. I think he's a great pick. So I'm going to go with him for the Xfinity series. And for the Daytona 500, I'm also going to go with a first-time Daytona 500 winner. Matt, it's kind of similar to yours with Bubba Wallace, but it's going to be his very good friend from the Ford camp. I'm going to say Ryan Blaney finally gets a Daytona 500 victory after last year having to watch from the wall, having to watch his teammate get the victory. So that's my picks, and that'll wrap us up for this episode of Runnin On Scuffs. Before we get closing remarks, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're here on YouTube. If you're here on Facebook, be sure to follow us, and we will. Like I said, if you want to join us on NASCAR Fantasy Live, we will have a link down below for that. You guys can join us and you can compete against us every week. Let us know your thoughts. And before we get wrapped up, let's go to Matt. We want to thank you for joining us this week, and we're glad to have you on, and we can't wait to have you back.
I enjoyed it.
Matt, do you have any closing remarks for us?
Let's just light the candles up and let's get going, because I'm glad football season's over with. So now it's time for the second season, known as the Four Wheels.
Absolutely right. Let's get things going. Mike, what say you for your closing remarks?
I think it's going to be a good race this year. And once again, you can check out the Dash Stats article on runninonscuffs.com. And raise hail, praise Dale.
Absolutely. That's what we like. Zach, why don't you hit us with a signature sign-off, my friend?
Yeah, I want to thank my parents for supporting my addiction, the time, the money, lots of money. As you know, I'm always in a NASCAR shirt pretty much every time I do this show. But, folks, buckle in. It is 37 of the next 38 weeks we will have NASCAR on our TVs. So, remember, it's Valentine's Day this week. Don't spend any time with your wives, your girlfriends, your any significant boyfriends, husbands, whatever, significant others. They don't matter. Block them off every weekend. It is all about NASCAR all the time, as it is here. That's our motto, right, Justin?
I reckon so. That's got to be our motto here, because it's Daytona week.
That's what I tell myself when I'm eating Chinese food and blasting Luke Combs by myself tomorrow. Is it's all about NASCAR.
I just want to say real quick, don't forget Wednesday is half price candy day.
There you go. See, Daff and I have been single long enough to know how to properly celebrate Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah,
But
I usually go to the gun range every Valentine's Day to celebrate the true meaning of the holiday.
Oh my gosh, maybe we
well,
don't celebrate the same way. But anyways, so shouts out to my parents, and thank you everybody for listening, and to all my supporters, you're the best. To all my haters, I love you even more.
Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Again, we thank everybody for tuning in. We thank everyone for watching. We will see you guys next week here on Runnin On Scuffs.